Okay, so who is going to win F1 El Sacico? You've been asking in the comments who's going to get sacked first, who are the frauds in Formula One. Sam, we've gone from last season with no rookies, now we've got like a billion rookies, and they've all struggled so far, apart from one we're going to get onto.
I was going to say, Kimi didn't struggle.
Yeah, in fact, did exceptionally well. But let's start off with El Sacico. Who's going to get sacked first? We said before the season, Jack Doohan.
Yeah.
Do you think that's actually changed? Do you think someone is going to get dropped before Doohan now?
I personally still think Doohan will go first. Not because... I actually, in general, thought Australia wasn't too bad. I know he had his accident in the race, but his actual showing and comparing times to Gasly was actually really good.
Yeah.
I know the race is different, but four out of the 6 rookies anyway got affected in the race as it is. So if we ignore the race, it was actually really good that weekend. I still do personally think he's going to be the first one to go.
Firstly, I think it's pretty crazy they come in with not a lot of testing.
Yeah.
And actually you see it here and it's all kind of crazy at the beginning of the season. So we're going to see who learns first and you have to risk it. I think it's been fascinating to see like who's been risking it. Like Kimi just was risked. Some of the overtakes were ridiculous. Some of that going on the white lines, no regard. But Doohan, I just think if you're in the Flavio Briatore camp at Alpine, that's just more fuel to be like, we're going to get rid of you. That said, Colapinto in Brazil last year and other races
I think
also binned it.
I was going to say, I think he probably would have actually got a seat if he hadn't been so bad in Brazil.
Yeah. So we think Jack Doohan still most likely to, unfortunately, be shuffled. And I think it's really unfortunate for him, but you've got to remember the context. Colapinto's been signed to basically take that seat. Liam Lawson, some people saying Liam Fraudson, because I'm getting Nick DeVries vibes about this. You know, it's easy on the outside that you can be hyped, but when you come in and it's
when
kind
you
of
put under the spotlight, you need to perform.
Yeah.
I mean, Australia probably couldn't have gone much worse for him.
Bad
Probably
weekend.
could not have gone worse. I mean, I reckon even Isaac Hadjar has come out with a better face than Liam Lawson after that.
And Hadjar hasn't come out with a great face. Yeah. So Liam Lawson, I mean, I just think he's not going to have much rope. The only thing for Liam Lawson is that I don't think they're going to want to promote Yuki.
It's not
so they're not going to put Daniel Ricciardo back in.
No.
I don't know where Sergio Perez is in the world right now, but there's no one right now queuing for that seat. To be so far off Verstappen, does that tell you that Red Bull have actually been designing this car all along for Verstappen?
Well, I was going to say that made me think of the weekend. Have we actually been overly too harsh on Verstappen's teammates? Because Verstappen is so high, does he make this... It's the Red Bulls for the last few years been absolute dogs, and because his skill level is so high, and his teammates are showing where the car really should be, and is Verstappen just making that... So are we actually all being unnecessarily hard on his teammates?
I think it might be two things. I think the cars might be more of dogs than we thought, but also they might be really tailored towards his braking style, like being on the edge. Alex Albon's described it when he was teammate of Verstappen. It's like a mouse with really high sensitivity. Like you breathe it and it moves like a million things. And like Albon's like, I just don't like driving cars like that. So we'll see. But Liam Lawson, not quite Liam Fraudson yet, but definitely not the weekend that he wanted to start off with.
Definitely couldn't have gone much worse.
Let's move on to Isaac Hadjar. I think, first of all, I didn't like how the cameras kept following him when he was clearly having a difficult moment in the pit lane. It's like...
That was uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you can save that for Drive to Survive, which I won't watch. But for me, I thought, personally, count most class, Lewis Hamilton's dad coming out, Anthony Hamilton, and basically saying, keep your head up high. Even though he's there with Ferrari, you know, I thought that was a moment of class.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't have any ties with Red Bull. It's not as if Lewis has ever raced Red Bull, had anything to do with it, and he's gone out of his way to actually go there, comfort a young lad who is clearly distraught and being shown up on live TV.
Yeah, so Sam is a professional karter, race really genuinely at the highest level. Have you ever seen people on the grid you're like, that person doesn't look comfortable?
Yes. You see that at national level, you can see it all above levels, and you can literally look at their face, just look at their body language half the time, and you can really think, yeah, he's really lost it to himself.
I just wonder if it was too much of a deep end for Hadjar, and he's obviously emotionally cracked or whatever afterwards, you know.
Yes.
That has happened, and I just wonder how that is going to be looked at by people like Helmut Marko. And I mean, they'll know him inside out, they know his data, but you don't truly know what someone's really made of until you're on the grid.
It'd be interesting to see at China this weekend.
Yeah, let's talk about Oliver Behrman, who started the weekend terribly, ended it as one of the only 2 rookies who finished a race basically, but he crashed it. You know, he crashed in
FP1 right off his car, missed FP2, spun his first flying lap at FP3, so he had, I think it's something, like 12 minutes or 13 minutes actually driving before the race started.
And then in the race, he was always off the back of the pack, basically. Yeah. He never looked comfortable. Big difference from what we saw in Saudi last year when he came in for Ferrari, when Carlos Sainz had his appendix, where he just looked super confident. But he'd been there in F2. I think he'd already done a practice session. Yeah. For Haas, Haas have been so shrewd and, let's say, boring with drivers since they had the infamous Schumacher and Mazepin combination. I just think this is going to add up for them if Bama's going to bin it.
Yeah. Also, as we're going through the rookies, I was actually quite impressed by Bortoleto. I actually didn't think he did too bad.
Yeah, so binned it in the end. But yeah, I mean, he's done. Yeah, if he hadn't binned it, I think we'd be saying it's a really good weekend for him.
I generally thought that was a good weekend. He kind of got ruined in qualifying by the yellow flag, which came up in the end of his main run in qualifying. Yeah. But I think he did really well. I think he came off second best out of all the rookies.
I'd be surprised if they drop him during the season. Yeah. So I think but I'd be surprised if they keep him as well. I think someone's going to come in for Audi next season. People have been saying, potentially like Bottas or someone experienced. We'll see what Audi do. I mean, Vettel, someone like, I don't know, Pascal Wehrlein, who I speak with a lot. There's a lot of wild cards they could do. Let's finish off with Kimi, who's the final rookie. Incredibly strong performance. Yeah. Almost close in the way he drove, and I just love his attitude, like a little bit carefree.
Yep, I think it's sick 360.
Yeah. So it's not like he span it and like eased off. Yeah. So I was really, really, really impressed by Kimi. He feels a bit different to like the Mercedes kind of robotic, people that they seem to like. Yeah. And I wonder how that's going to go down. I wonder if he's going to rub Russell up the wrong way.
I mean, that's his first race in a Formula 1 car, in the wet, and you saw how well he did there.
Yeah.
I think he's actually really, really going to be a massive threat to Russell this year, and it will show how good Russell is or isn't.
Yeah.
I generally was super impressed, and I had mid-range expectations for him, and he's far outreached what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, Kimi Antonelli, I think F1 World Champion future I want to look out for me, actually. Honourable mentions, I think, to Albon, Stroll as well. Piastri was also super, super, super quick, and I think it's a real disaster for him because to only get, I think, 1 point or 2 points in the end when he was basically fastest driver for a lot of it and told to hold off, and they hit the rain first and he gets unlucky. So, Norris goes off as well. I think he's been really hard done by. So it'll be interesting how he recovers from that because that's a big points margin to Norris, and McLaren seem to want to pull rank. Papaya rules is in, Papaya rules is out. Anyone else you've got in for El Sacico? We've got Carlos Sainz binned it. I think Fernando Alonso is going to go off the rails this season.
So you reckon it could be his last season?
Yeah, I just think he will combust this season. He only can operate in environments for so long before he just annoys everyone and everyone annoys him. And I think this is going to be the season for it. I think Stroll will take him out or something, and it will just, that's...
You think it's going to be mid-season leaving then?
I don't think he's going to leave. I don't think he's going to get sacked. I think it's just going to be like when Vettel was there and it just sort of tailed off like at the end. Like
lost interest.
I think Alonso will be plotting the next part of his career, which will be in WEC or something like that. I don't know if we go back to IndyCar or something. So very, very, very exciting race. Let us know what you think in the comments.